From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hello and welcome to Around Foxborough. My name is Chris Allen and I'm here tonight with Brownie and Kathleen of SCORE. So first and foremost, welcome.
Thank you.
And could you tell me a little bit about what SCORE is, what SCORE does?
Sure. So SCORE is a national organization. It's been around for, I think it's almost 60 years now. Is that right? Headquartered in DC, has chapters all over the country, including 5 in Massachusetts.
Wow.
And our mission is really to support and enable the success of small business entrepreneurs.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's what we do. Most of us are volunteers, and we accomplish that mission through mentoring and education. That's kind of the short version. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if somebody's looking to get involved either on the mentorship side or the menteeship side, how do you go about doing that?
You know, we make it really easy. On the mentee side, you go to score.org and you fill in a couple questions, and I don't think we turn anybody away. We kind of understand what is it that you're looking to do, and then we match you to a mentor.
Fantastic. So nonprofit?
Nonprofit.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And we the website is sort of managed on the national basis, but you just put in your zip code and try to match people locally. If we can, although these days since COVID, a lot of our mentoring is done over Zoom. So you can actually, if you're looking for a particular kind of expertise that you need some advice and help from, they can be in California. You can ask for them specifically and set you up with it. So that's how it goes.
It's got a pretty good platform for mentors. So we go in and sort of set up a profile, talk a little bit about what our backgrounds are, what our expertise are, and then we try to match that expertise with whatever the mentee is looking for.
Right.
And then you have the ability to have a co-mentor. So let's say someone comes in, they really want to do marketing, which is sort of my specialty, but there's a nonprofit angle. I might go to Kathleen and say, would you co-mentor with me? Or it may be that it's a subject matter expertise kind of situation. So it may not be a co-mentorship relationship, but it may be a one-time, I may go have a conversation with that mentee, with like our legal department or tax person, something like that. So it's pretty broad to get access to a lot of really smart people with lots of experience.
We have about around 70 mentors in our southeastern Massachusetts chapter area that we serve, and we also work collaboratively with Cape Cod and the islands. Now that's kind of a new thing. So, and the expertise, as Brianna said, is really broad. So I don't have I'm kind of broad. So we try to make these relationships with our clients, as we call them, last for a long time. And as they go through the different stages of developing their business, they have different needs, right, at different times along the way. So I have a couple of clients. I've been mentoring for about 5 years, and I have a couple of clients that have had for the whole time, which is a really wonderful experience, and you watch them, go through their ups and downs and all that sort of stuff. So it's really for the mentors, it's really a great experience because you are interacting with people at the stage in their lives when they're really ready to accomplish things and they have energy, and you're and you're able to share what you've learned from all these years. So it's a really great experience for both of us.
How did you get involved with SCORE?
Yeah, it's interesting because I knew about SCORE a long time ago. I had a friend that started a business and she had a SCORE mentor, and then I retired at the end of 2024, and I had different plans that I'm still doing, and then I was talking to a woman and she was like, why don't you join SCORE? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And so I went online, applied, and like the next day I had 2 people reach out. And then you get trained, right? They take you through the whole process, and we got to fill out, and learn sort of the SCORE way of mentoring. And didn't take that long, probably a week and a half or so, and off we went. Right. Yeah, pretty straightforward.
So your expertise is in marketing?
So branding and marketing. Strangely, I also have an HR background.
Oh, cool.
I also think just generally I have a good sense of people.
Yeah.
So like high levels of engagement, high emotional IQ, or EQ. What I found is that it's very hard to separate the business personality from your personality.
Yeah.
And so very quickly you can kind of tap into, like, is there something holding this person back? Is there a different way they should be thinking? So you quickly start to get to more of the mental as well as the functional. So that combination and doing that dance with them is pretty interesting. Yeah.
It is.
That's actually fascinating. What do you have success stories that you would be interested in sharing, or
I mean,
is there anybody?
I've only been doing it for a year and a half, so a lot of people are still on their journey.
So we do actually, we have a newsletter that we reach about 6,000 people with stories and things that are going on in our education programs, which we'll tell you about in a bit. But we do try to feature clients as much as we can. So I think we all have like our favorites. Whether they're actually success or not is another matter. But I have one client who I haven't seen much of him lately, but he was a professional football player.
Oh, wow.
And realized that there's more to being a successful professional football player than your physical skills. And for high school kids in particular, they need some grounding of various kinds so that they can be mentally and physically prepared for their hopefully their successful career as a football player. So he began a nonprofit to kind of provide that kind of service for free. I mean, it's training in a way, but it's in a particular kind of environment. And he's been very successful actually with getting some funding for the nonprofit. And so what we did is help with some of the, we talk about the sort of 10 steps in forming a business, whether it's a nonprofit or not. And my background is nonprofits, that's why I do this. And many of our clients are at that pre step actually, where they're like, I really want to do this, but I have no idea how, kind of thing, right? So we help them really with that decision-making process. Do you realize this is what's involved? And then at the very beginning, there's a lot of this, like, how do I become an LLC, or in my case, a charitable organization? What are the steps you have to go through, and all that kind of bureaucratic legal stuff, which we advise on. We're not lawyers, any of us, or if we are, we're retired, and we don't give, quote, official legal advice, but we gently advise, right?
Yeah. And there's a depth of knowledge that you can tap into to help people make the right decisions or the best informed decisions.
Right. And the financial dimension is really one that they really need a lot of help on, you know. Just basic things like budgeting and where do you find funding, either grants for nonprofits or loans or whatever kinds of other revenue sources. So and we have a really deep bench of folks that are really, really helpful in writing business plans and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know about you, but I've learned so much about how to run a business since I started with SCORE. So.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, at the same time, my daughter was starting her business.
Oh,
and
cool.
So, and I kind of her quote unquote advisor. So, as much as I was a marketer in my corporate world, it's a little different starting your own business. So, I now have that experience alongside, right? So you can kind of give them the sort of the steps to ensure that they're sort of on their way. What I would say, at least I probably have 11 clients right now, and they do vary. You do have some who are just like, I have this idea, and maybe sort of kind of I'm thinking about it. And then there are others. I have one that is up and running for 2 years, and they're just trying to figure out how to accelerate. And what is the best way? They're looking at hiring. Yep. And so they kind of came to me with the HR lens. And what we typically find, whatever the question is that they're asking, you usually kind of bring them back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like they think
Yep.
it's time to go marketing, but no. Let's talk about your branding, what is your intent, your purpose, and so on. So we always sort of end up kind of guiding them, get them to think a little bit more broadly, which is where you can kind of see the the awakening happens.
Right.
Like, oh wow, I hadn't even thought about it that way. So it does vary. So from I have an idea, I'm trying to think it through, to I'm midway, to I've been around for 3, 4, 5 years, but now I need to grow, or my business is slowing, or I might need to exit. So it varies.
I have one client who is slowly exiting from a nonprofit that she started, 15 years ago, and that's a whole other kind
That's
of
a whole other
mentoring,
emotional
right?
journey
Yeah,
as well, right?
It is, right. That's kind of what they're on. Yeah, I mean, the one other service, I guess, that along in the kind of category of mentoring is we've started what we call an advisory board concept, where sometimes, usually as Brianni's describing, a client that's been in business for a while, maybe they want to go to the next level, or they're having a particular challenge of some kind. And we will put together a panel, really, of our mentors and kind of design a project. So it isn't like I'll be with you forever, although we do continuing the mentoring afterwards. But we're going to really dive into this and kind of give you a set of recommendations, and almost like a management consulting project a little bit. So we're doing that in a few cases. I participated actually only in one, because often the nonprofits are not quite ready for that. Yeah. But that's kind of an exciting thing, because it's a different. And again, these are situations where the mentors learn from each other as well, right?
Yeah.
So
and it's typically production, finance, marketing. Those are the 3 general areas that you'll find.
Okay.
And so, we may all come together and spend 4 or 5 hours trying to understand what is happening, and then we say, okay, fine, you spend some time with this person on production, you spend time on finance, and so on. And then to your point, it's kind of free management consultation. It's a pretty big, I keep going, that is a pretty big deal. Right?
Wow.
it is. It's wonderful, really.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
I mean, the concept behind this organization is really terrific. So we haven't talked about the education stuff very much. In addition to all of this, some of us, I don't know if you're teaching any webinars yet, Brianni, not yet, but some of us with a unique expertise of some kind, we will create a webinar or a workshop or something like that, and offer that. The webinars are obviously offered much more broadly than just right down the street. So I did one a couple of years ago with one of our legal guys on how to start a nonprofit and all the things that are involved and all that kind of stuff. But there's many of them that are available, and many of them are free. Not all of them, but many of them are free. We also do a really great 5-session face-to-face workshop here on the South Shore, where we cover, it's called Business Essentials. So, there's marketing, there's sales, there's business planning, there's, I'm trying to think of what all the 5 subjects are that are involved, but just we've got some really great speakers for that, and we kind of move it around. I think it's going to be at what's the name of that college that we've been working with? Stonehill College. It's coming up here. So that's available. If you go to our website, you'll see that that's available for, I think it's $25 for the whole 5 sessions.
Oh, wow.
So it's really but that's mostly just to kind of make sure that people come and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's
So there's a third party component to this as well.
Okay.
So if you think about it from the perspective of a bank, right? Somebody's coming in, they want to borrow some money, and they go, well, you know what? Let me send you to SCORE so they can help you write a business plan. So the money that I lend you is done well. Right. They get the value. So there's that component, which is sort of how SCORE was funded from the SBA for years and years. I'm not sure how long, but for years and years.
From the beginning. Yeah.
Some of that funding has sort of been pulled based on sort of all the stuff that's going on in DC. Yep. So a part of what the committee, one of the many committees that Kathleen and I are on, is ensuring that we can continue to fund this organization. So we're looking for a donation. So this is my shameless plug
Oh,
to anybody
absolutely.
that's listening
Plug.
to go to score.org and donate whatever you
donate.
can, because it's such an incredible
Yeah.
resource. And I sometimes think it's interesting that people aren't really understanding that unless people survive and, more importantly, thrive in their communities, they won't be able to go out and buy
Right.
stuff, right? Your town doesn't survive if people don't have money,
Absolutely.
to go to Subway or whatever, CVS or whatever. So how do we help ensure that we have a strong community, which then builds a strong state, which builds sort of a strong America? Well, we're here for that. So.
And the banks are the banks understand that.
Yes,
and
they
they
do.
do it,
It's a
as you
huge
probably
resource
know.
for them.
They invest in communities,
Yeah.
and one of the ways that they invest is sometimes through sponsoring stuff
Sponsorship,
with us
yeah.
and so on. So it's so satisfying, really, to just to see. We had our Christmas celebratory lunch in December, and somebody had recommended this restaurant that seemed to be geographically in the middle of where all our mentors are, and I called the guy and told him what we wanted. He said, I was a SCORE client about 40 years ago.
Wow.
It was just, it was just so wonderful. And here he is, obviously. He's been in business for 40
Yeah,
years.
that's
and
awesome.
Yeah, it was really just a lovely thing to see. So anyway, this is how we are not paid in dollars. But we are paid in this kind of satisfaction. So anyway.
So do you take a salary at all for this?
No.
It's all free.
Okay.
Yeah.
All free. We do it because
All the mentoring is free and will always be free. It's kind of the core of what we do. Depending on the level of the education, if we start to get really sophisticated education, we charge a little bit for that. But some of the base, like how to start a nonprofit, there's no charge for that. So that sort of thing. So
So the funding that we're looking for is really to sort of help the platform that we use, the fact that we're on Zoom, things like that. So, there's no cost for us. So if anybody's looking to donate, just remember it doesn't go to us. It really just goes to support the mentees who support sort of our community.
And the communities have been. We work quite closely with chambers of commerce because obviously we're all there trying to support businesses, right? We do. Occasionally need a physical space, and we have a really close relationship with the Brockton Redevelopment Authority, so they have a space that they'll let us use from time to time. It's just, we're all kind of in this together, you know, so to make businesses successful, I guess. So, it's really, it's kind of I'm from Canada, so coming here and really seeing this wonderful life of small businesses in this country, it's just really, it's a great thing. So,
So I had never heard of SCORE before yesterday, honestly. But
we have to work on that.
We're looking to change that.
it may be because I don't get out much. Honestly.
We need more.
But I think it's, as somebody who's, I spent 20 years working as a chef, and I had considered, I considered trying to start a catering business.
Did you hear the invitation in that?
I did, yeah.
I have moved on from that since, but there was a time when I was thinking about how to go out on my own, and I didn't really know that there were resources like this. So that's really cool.
It is. I mean, you know how to cook, or you know how to bake. I mean, some of the I did have some for-profit clients in the beginning, but that's not the same as running a successful bakery business, right? And it does seem overwhelming. What do you mean a budget sort of thing? So, but. I mean, these are smart people. They just, have focused on one particular skill. So it's just giving them that background, maybe making it seem a little less intimidating, because the initial startup is like, woo. So, but it isn't actually. If you have someone walking beside you, that's what I always say, right? Then it just kind of makes it, kind of weave your way through some of this stuff. So,
and the fact is that as a small business owner or someone that's thinking about it, an entrepreneur, there are resources out there to help you, but they cost you money.
Right.
And so you're like, wait, am I going to spend $10,000 just to kind of determine whether or not I can do this? Or do I come to something like a score.org to, get that support. So most people, if they see the difference in the quality of the people
Yeah.
relative to I'm just going to go pay someone and I'm going to get it for free, it's kind of it's a little bit of a no-brainer, I'd say.
I would agree with that.
Right.
Knowledgeable, personable,
Yeah.
people to walk it with you and help guide is incredibly valuable.
Yeah.
It is, and I think, again, on the mentee side, people who've really, we have quite a mixture, by the way. We have people who've run the small businesses, many of them, but we also have people with this really, who've done marketing for some big company somewhere, so they have this really deep expertise. So that combination of people who've, run the bar and really have been through the whole, thing, and those that can really just give you the best tools kind of thing. It's really an interesting mix of people. It really is. So, anyway, yeah.
So is there anything specifically other than, getting the word out and maybe getting some donations flowing? Is there anything you guys are looking for specifically for, is there a hole you guys need help filling, or is there, opportunities that you're looking to expand, or?
I think you hit the nail. More mentors, more mentees, funding.
Right.
Yeah.
We're growing.
Right.
We want to do more. We want to do more of our mission, right? So, and it's really been amazing over the years that this, we don't, as Brianni said, we don't turn people away, right? So somehow or another, we've been able to manage this X number of mentors and Y number of clients, right? We get a lot of new clients in January usually because, people are rethinking and, want to, whatever. So, but we also get new mentors at that time who are, thinking about how they want to spend some of their extra time, and many of them are retirees. Not everybody, but many are. So, so we're just trying to do more of everything that we do, and we track. We have all these metrics that we track, about. And ratings and surveys and all that kind of stuff.
But 96% satisfaction score?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So
really good.
So we care about
One of the
that,
better
right?
ones,
And we do kind of nurture our mentors to make sure that they're, responding, and we have groups where we talk with each other and we share, gee, I have this big problem with this client, or I don't know how to help him, and we share that informally in that way too. So there's a community around all of it, and we're trying to create communities for our mentees as well. We're starting some Facebook groups to just allow people to participate so they can post a question and share themselves.
They could become each other's clients.
Yeah.
Which I think is really fascinating.
That's
I think the only last thing I'd say is, if I look at this from sort of macroeconomics, and we start to think about, I think I fall in the baby boomer category. We're all sort of getting to that 60-ish mark. I think two things are happening. One, corporate America is downsizing or continues to do so, right? And two, I think our generation, even when we're ready to retire, we're not really ready to retire. So we're going to do one of two things. We're going to kind of give back the way that I am, or we're going to go start our own business.
Right.
Because there's no other place sort of to go.
Right.
So I think we're in this really, I think there's a bubble, and I think SCORE can help serve that bubble on both sides.
Yeah, I would say that's true. And I think the South Shore is a real vibrant part of that bubble. They're just, there seems to be kind of a lot happening here. I'd never had much to do with chambers of commerce before, and I'm realizing, that there's things happening, and we have a role to play in all of that.
I also think the digital age has allowed more businesses to really flourish, right? Because nothing is local anymore. Everything is global. I mean, you think about what's going on, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn, you can really sort of get the word out. And so you can have one little product that you can sell to a whole bunch of people, making sure you're getting people engaged. So it's if you go back 20 years ago, you probably couldn't have had this much success for small businesses. It's impossible. Who are you going to reach? Town of Foxborough cannot support sort of a thriving business, unless it's probably food. Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
But if you're offering sort of these broader services, you're able to reach a much bigger audience. So that's the other I'd say confluence maybe, that's going to layer on top. There's more access, and then therefore, and more lack of jobs,
Yeah.
and a youngness, a youthfulness of our generation. I think
Yeah.
that's those four things or three things coming together, I think, will create some sort of boom. So we're here and we're ready.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So one last time, where can people find you guys?
Score.org.
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 I want a mentor. Put in your zip code.
We're here.
We'll find you. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for watching Around Foxborough. My name is Chris Allen. The executive producer is Michael Weber. Producer is Jerry Love. And the technician is Paul Beck. Catch you next time.